Good morning, everyone. Today I'm going to visit the village of Stanley Pontlarge. I've tried to get there twice before. First time I got slightly lost in a field, which shouldn't have held me back, but there's always that little voice in your head which says, you know what, you've walked quite a lot today, maybe you deserve to go home and have a cold drink on the sofa. And I kind of gave in to that voice. Second time out, the path cut through a field of high crops, and there was no obvious route through. Theoretically, I could have barged my way through. It's a public right of way, but I just don't like the idea of stamping on a farmer's crops. Today I got my map, and one way or the other we'll get there. You can probably hear a little bit of traffic noise. I'm walking parallel with the road. It did occur to me to walk along the road because there's a nice cottage down there. Could have filmed that. And there's also the entrance to Prescott Racecourse, which is a sort of vintage car racecourse. And I knew nothing about it when I moved to this area, but apparently it's very well known if you're into vintage cars. It's a bit of a mecca. And now and again when they hold their events, we get vintage Bentleys and stuff going through our village, which is very cool. But I've decided to walk through the field because that's my sort of manifesto for doing these walks. Any fool can walk along a road or a pavement. Let's try and cut through the countryside and find the exciting tracks. Nice day today. Well, briefly, we've got these glowering clouds, and they say it could cloud over later. But right now we've got a patch of blue. Bit blowy but humid. Well, that's a farm I would have been crossing. But I'm sticking to the lanes here, seeing if I can circumvent it. Shouldn't take too long. It's only a couple of 100 yards. What I'll do is head on up here. I just climbed a hill. I definitely think I'm getting better at this. I think my puff is gradually returning. I lost my puff. Mislaid my mojo by not walking sufficiently, but these once a week walks really seem to be working out. Yeah, so Prescott races. They do a weekend each year called the Historique. Not historic, historique, French, because they're fancy. And the place gets overrun, all the country lanes, the villages, with vintage cars. And then late afternoon, they have a Battle of Britain fly past. And usually it's a Spitfire. And I didn't go and visit the races, but I did go and stand on my doorstep, because I live nearby, round about the time they were due to have the Battle of Britain fly past, in the hope one of the planes would come over my house. And it didn't. I waited at the allotted time. There was a 15-minute window when it could have passed. But later on I saw on social media they actually got a Lancaster. I was so envious. They had a Lancaster bomber that basically dive bombed the racetrack. Well, not dive bombed, but swooped over really low. Now, we've had the Lancaster come over our house a couple of times, and it is the most extraordinary noise. We get a lot of civilian flights, and a lot of modern military flights, because we seem to be on some kind of training pathway. But the Lancaster is something else. Imagine if somebody emptied a bag of spanners into a washing machine and put it on a spin cycle. That's what it's like. Absolute racket. And one of these days I'm going to be ready with a camera, because when it comes over you don't get much warning. It sort of roars over and it's gone. Hopefully one of these days I'll just hear it coming. Soon enough I can grab my stills camera and get some pics. We've gone beyond the point where I gave up last time. We're now well on our way to Stanley Pontlarge. Got to wander across these fields now. The farm I just passed through is called Far Stanley, that little zone there, 2 or 3 houses. Is this Middle Stanley? Could be. There's a lot of little hamlets around here called Stanleys. But the one we're going to is the main one, which makes it sound more impressive than it is. And that's Stanley Pontlarge, which is still 2 or 3 fields ahead of us. Last time I was up here was with the Ramblers. That's how I'd sort of half know the route. I don't know about walking in a group. I just tend to prefer walking in my own speed. They were nice people, but I just like looking around. I like stopping if the mood takes me, just so I can look at a view. It's suddenly greyed over. Is it going to rain on me or not? I don't know. We're getting blue skies and we're getting grey skies. I don't mind particularly. I mean, I've got all the proper hiking gear, all the quick dry stuff. Nothing wrong with a little bit of rain. Thanks for a very grey image on the camera. Last couple of weeks I've been very lucky. I decided to start videoing my walks and it coincided with these wonderful blue skies. This is more like your everyday grey, isn't it? Which is fine, that's what we have to sort of get ourselves used to. That's what I like recording, the ordinariness of it all. These are some particularly gorgeous fence posts, aren't they? Check this out. I do like weathering. I like accidental beauty. Now, where are we going next? When we did this last time, I think, let me just squeeze through this gate. We cut across this field and I can see a path over there. It was crazy last time. It was so wet, the ground was so sodden, it was like walking through a paddy field. It's a bit dry today. We've had a little bit of rain, but not enough to make it swampy. Well, I got about 10 feet and the rain started, so I'm going to shelter under this railway arch. This is the steam railway, so it could get a bit rumbly. Grey skies passing over, grey clouds. Blue skies up ahead. So if I just wait a minute too, I reckon it'll ease off. Made it, folks. Stanley Pontlarge. All I got to do is head down that little lane there. And we are there. But first I want to show you this bus stop. Check it out. I'm not sure it's even still in use, but check out the motto. Quilibet in tempestate portus. A shelter for anyone in a storm. Here we are, folks, St. Michael's. There's a lot of old churches in the locality, but this is the oldest. It's 1175. Extremely Norman. Which you can tell by the easily identifiable arches you get. When the Normans invaded Britain in 1066, William the Conqueror, conquering us, they brought this architectural style, which was this very plain arched style, and it's a good way of aging buildings, seeing how old they are. I think I've just seen a lady doing the flowers in here, so I think we can open up and get in. Now, how about that? That is a seriously Norman arch. How crooked it is. Some of these churches sold, they don't really have proper foundations. How old do you reckon that font is? Pretty old. Well, this is the little hamlet of Stanley Pontlarge. When I say little, there's really only about 3 or 4 houses here. And apparently in the Domesday Book, William the Conqueror's sort of inventory of his newly conquered realm of Britain, this hamlet does appear as Stanley, some variation of Stanley. The organ over here. And apparently the term Pontlarge is Anglo-Saxon. Very dinky little pulpit. Pontlarge, meaning large body of water. Now, none of the hills around here have rivers or waterfalls or anything. But they do have little sort of declivities in the side of the hills, and water tends to gather. And there's one of these about 50 yards away. And apparently that was the site of a Tudor manor house, long since gone. And the lake, a little pond, was part of its moat. And that's still there. If you climb this hill, you can see it in the back garden of a rather posh farmhouse. And that's clearly what gave this little hamlet its name. Let me just squeeze through here so I can remember my route back. Oh yeah, just go through this gate. This looks like it's the bottom of someone's garden. I'm not going to film it, but if you glimpse through those trees, there's a very posh house up ahead. And I think we're at the very bottom of that garden. The oceanic roar of the wind in the trees. Love that sound. There we go. winding my way home now. Thanks for keeping me company. I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.